But my story, this is a 60-year-old story, my flag story. It's not something, I found in my uncle's attic when he died. I've known this flag my whole life. Yes, okay, sure. My father actually, he'd graduated in high school and the Depression right at like 37, 38. And then being in Depression, no work. And, he's not knowing what to do. He joined the Montana National Guard. This was before the war. And just right when he was doing his basic training in Fort Lewis, Washington, he was there when Pearl Harbor happened. But the training was Fort Lewis, Washington, and they went to Australia, like in 42 is when they went there. Then from Australia, they jumped to Papua New Guinea, then up to the Philippines, ending in 45. My father had a footlocker with all his war memorabilia in there, and what he brought home from the war. And the footlocker had photos, letters from home, military letters. He had some machetes he picked up in I think in the Philippines or something, but they were just local native machetes, grass skirt. It had his uniform in there, which he was cremated in. Had a bloodstained sailor hat. And there were 3 Hinamarus, not just Takeshi Hinamaru. There was a handmade one. I remember that one. It was hand sewn. It wasn't like the fancy silk ones or that were purchased. I'm assuming it was handmade. And that's still, my sister still has that flag. One of my sisters do. This was after my father died. We inherited those. Then there was the Kishi flag, which was always my favorite don't know why, and I knew these flags were personal. My father had told me that because when we go down, I knew they weren't battle flags or, that they were love letters from home. Maybe I was intrigued by the bloodstains on there, but mainly intrigued by the art. I thought the Hinamarus were always, to me, like works of art, I guess would be the best way to put it, with just the Japanese script on there and all that, just beautiful. And I remember as a child going down there with a magnifying glass and just looking at, how beautiful these were. So I took photos of the Hinamaru and emailed the embassy, Washington, and like the consulate in Los Angeles, and no response. And I had a Japanese neighbor with older parents, and I showed them the diary and the flag, and they were very polite, but just standoffish. I actually took it into a sushi restaurant, which was Japanese, and my friend had ate there. We went to dinner one night, and I took it in along with the diary and showed it to them, and very polite, but just kind of standoffish. I thought it was a cultural thing. They didn't want to talk about the war or something, so that's where I gave up. But then when I met Yuji, my colleague, what I'd asked him, I told him I'd had a flag in the diary, and he was immediately interested in that. He was the first Japanese person I ever met that was actually showed interest. We got on a train, then we took the train down to Misaki. The Kishis came and met me at the train station. So that kind of threw everybody in chaos somewhat. I don't know why they came and met me. It was out of respect, but I remember that. It was kind of funny because on the train, all of a sudden, when they're getting out the train, everybody's, the Kishis here, the Kishis are here. Everybody was in chaos because it threw their schedule off. But they came and met me at the train station, then to the ceremony, which was very Japanese too, I guess. It's just everybody got up and spoke, and said their things. And then I was last to go, and I gave my speech. basically. I was the last person to talk there. Then I pretty emotional speech. I kind of explained the same story. I'd known my flag my whole life, and it's, how I'd researched and wanted to give it back to Japan. And so just that kind of story. So then the actual handing over of the flag, I mean, it was so emotional for me at the time too. When I finally handed over correctly, and when all the cameras went to the Kishis, and when they're looking at the flag and all that, I walked away. I just went to a window, cried, much to the chagrin of my interpreter. So she's trying to watch the ceremony. What's this American doing wandering off in the middle of the ceremony? But so she had to bring me back to the table. But yeah, it was, once that I saw the Kishi's emotion getting that flag, Mr. Kishi's first words, what the interpreter told me was, "Grandfather has come home." But he took the flag, when he's taking the flag and going over to the grandkids, he says, "Grandpa's come home." That's what, then I had to leave to the window. Yeah. That, if there's any reason why you should return one of these Hina Marus, it's the Kishis.